Hi, I'm Pete Haviland-Eduah, and I'm a pretty average golfer. This year, I participated in the longest day in golf at Bandon Dunes Golf Resort in Oregon. It's 72 holes and walking only. It's limited to 132 participants from around the world, and I wanted to join because I wanted to challenge myself physically and mentally. The past year has been a difficult one for me, and I need to create moments of joy for myself, and golf has been my outlet for that. So I wanted to share my story, my experience of what it was like playing in the Bandon Dunes Solstice event. I started off catching a flight from San Francisco to Southwest Oregon. It's a small airport and it's dedicated to golfers. There's actually only one gate, one terminal in the whole place. When I arrived, the hospitality team was ready for me. I had a nameplate where I could put my luggage, and they kept an eye on it while I explored the resort and started to get myself settled in. Food options were really good. This is from the Ghost Street Grill, where I had a Wagyu New York strip, Brussels sprouts, and a cocktail. Views were pretty good too.
Artlist.io.
After dinner, I went back to my room to stretch and to get ready for golf the next day. First up was Pacific Dunes. This was a normal round outside of the Solstice event. I won't lie, front nine beat me up here pretty good, but I was able to bounce back, hit some good shots on the back nine for a pretty decent score, and the views were pretty awesome too. I'm still mad I missed this putt, but the views were crazy, and this was a good round. Also, shout out to my caddy Nick, who took some pretty great videos this round. After my round, I went and had lunch and a cigar, only to go back to my room, change, and then get ready for my round at Shorty's. Shorty's is a 19-hole par 3 course that's a really good place to dial in the short game. It's a little bit further inland, but you're uphill, so the views are still pretty crazy. And I was the only person out on the course at this time, so I had the whole thing to myself, which was super dope.
Reimagined.
I almost had my first hole in one, stuck this shot to within 3.5 feet, tapped in for birdie. You love to see it. After my round at Shorty's, I went over to the Punch Bowl where they had an event for Solstice participants. You had folks putting, there was music, people were hanging out having a good time, and all of the vendors that provided merchandise for participants showed up and they showed us what we got. It was a crazy amount of swag, including flags, belts, club head covers, hats. It was incredible how much stuff they gave us. After Shorty's, I went home, I went to bed. I knew the next day was going to be a long one. The Solstice. My group had a 6:10 tee time. We were the last group to go out of the 132 participants, and this was the view before we walked 72 holes in just about 26 miles. Day started off strong. I was feeling good. The swing felt good. Weather was good. Everything was clicking early on, and I thought I was going to have a great day, and we were about to go low for 72. I even had a birdie on 16 at Bandon Dunes, one of the most iconic holes. Tried to drive the green, just short, chipped on, one putt for a 3. Was feeling really, really good. Next stop was Bandon Trails, and that's where everything started to fall apart. I put some English on that thing, but my playing partners were being a little generous. Directionally, that had no scope on it whatsoever. We started getting our steps in, and let me be clear, on Bandon Trails, you're going up and down. There's a lot of elevation. You're in the woods. We were hiking for real, for real. It was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. I had heard about this when I signed up for the event. They said no push carts, and this was why. You have some of these trails in the woods that are super narrow. And even once we got to the top of this, there was a truck waiting to take us even further uphill to the next tee box. Like I said, once you got up there, the views were pretty good. And it's a good ego boost to hit this far downhill. Though I will say this was probably one of my better shots on the course. It still wasn't a very good drive, but we're having a good time.
Artlist.io.
You gotta earn all 72 of these.
After trails, we went over to Old McDonald where bag lunches were ready for us, and they were much needed, let me tell you. This was probably one of my favorite holes on the entire course out of all 72 that we played. Number 3, Old McDonald, par 4, Ghost Tree. You got to hit the ball over that dune, drops down into the fairway where you can get a nice chip on. I was able to par this hole, which was super dope for me, but the difficult part was then you had to go walk over that thing.
Alright, we're 10 miles of walking in. I think this is hole 30. I don't know, lost count at this point. Refuel on some food. Turkey club wrap. It's just right. So we're back in the game. Looking for balls. And the best. Stay. More to come.
No surprises here. The views still go crazy. But as you can start to hear, the wind was starting to pick up, which would definitely play a huge role in the rest of the solstice event.
Alright, this is hole number 45. Number 18 on Old McDonald. I'm questioning why I did this. I'm debating whether or not I should ever play this game again. I've lost all control over shots, mechanics. I'm struggling to feel my feet. This is a mental battle. I've asked myself why so many times, but we're still going along. We're gonna get 72. It's gonna happen. 45. We got this. One more 18. And then we gotta finish up the 9 on Bandon, and then we're in home stretch. This is harder than I thought it was gonna be.
After Old Mac, we went over to Sheep Ranch, completely exposed to the Pacific winds, and the wind played a huge factor for all 18 on this course.
Artlist.io.
My playing partner Josh crushed this drive down the fairway. I, shortly thereafter, made a donation to the beach. Then I broke my driver. Tremendous L with about 20 holes left to go. I was so disappointed that that happened, and it wasn't even out of anger. It just broke on me, which was arguably the most disappointing thing of all. But the views continue to make up for it. Out in the distance, we could see sea lions out in the rocks, and it was just a truly, truly, truly special walk. On that walk up, I gotta admit, at this point, everything was starting to hurt. Every step was painful. Every swing was excruciating, but we were just trucking through. But everything around us, the course, the environment, and even the playing group just made up for it because they were awesome. As the sun started to set, I did a lot of reflection on my why I was doing this, and what it was going to bring me in my life after the particularly rough year that I've had. And I was so glad that I was able to participate in this event.
Come up the fairway on hole 72. Barely walking, but we're here. We got the sunset in the background. About to complete the longest day in golf. Whew. 72 holes in the books. In the books. We did it. Summer solstice, the longest day in golf. Check out the list because it's done. Woo.
At the end of the event, you're greeted by a Bandon Dunes employee who hands you a crisp $100 bill for completing the solstice. After all 72 holes are completed, you're welcome to a banquet of all participants that finished all 72 holes. And as you can see, I wasn't playing. 53,000 steps is over 25 miles.
Post 72, how we feeling? Terrible. I can barely walk. Everything hurts. There's muscles that I didn't know I had that hurt. I got my face tan. Look at that. dirty. Ugh. Oh man, this feels terrible. But I'm probably gonna want to like do it again tomorrow. So I'm not gonna do it again tomorrow. I'm going home. But it's a lot of fun. Bandon Dunes knows how to host. What a great time. Damn, that's like 25 miles of walking. Stop keeping score because, oh boy, we're getting up there. But we did it. We finished. And we got the merch to prove it. Let's go. I don't know that I care to do 72 again anytime soon. Anyway, thanks for following the journey.
Until next time, Bandon Dunes, thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.